The aircraft has already touched down. The bags have already been unloaded. The tale has already come to a conclusion. Subsequently, the curtain was opened, revealing what was concealed behind it. Take a moment. Go back in time. Because the published itinerary does not include what you are about to hear. The Instagram story did not have it. The corresponding captions did not contain it. Between two queen beds, a missing spouse, and a Mary J. Blige song that ought to have been abandoned in 2001, it was lost in the quiet. Please do me a favor and slam that button so hard that it tilts the screen before we open this holiday in cold case. Subscribe as if your Wi-Fi depended on it. Music, tap the bell because no one in her camp ever wanted you to hear the remainder of the story. The defenders of audacity are already typing, I promise. Every parasocial loyalist with a phony bio and a stolen profile photo is soon to discover that the receipts they attempted to conceal have a heartbeat of their own, and the side chick sympathizers are already writing pages. Now, Claressa Shields has purportedly transformed a tropical island into the loudest confession booth in celebrity history, allegedly for amusement reasons only, with the Copyright Act of 1976 sitting happily in the description box where it always resides. Furthermore, she is still unaware that she did it. That's the bit that no one is discussing. The leak is that. The slip is that. At that point, a self-proclaimed queen unintentionally added to the evidence file. And pay attention, as we will delve into every aspect of this, including all contradictions, missing documents, and seconds of body language captured by the camera. She obviously didn't. Firstly, blessings to all of you who are listening. Good juju, strong vibrations, and low frequencies. I appreciate you coming to this adult business's homeroom. We are now family. Pour your tea. Make adjustments to your pillows. We're heading inside. This is where the unraveling starts, then. I also need you to visualize it as a scene from a movie. A multi-millionaire athlete, a two-time Olympic gold medalist, the self-described GWAT, the greatest woman of all time, the one who shares boxing montages in between sermons and quotes scripture in between thirst traps. While on vacation in Aruba, where does this so-called superstar sleep? It's not an overwater home with a butler called Sebastian sliding cucumber water through a frosted glass door, nor is it a private villa or a five-star resort with a personal chef. No adorable infants. A vacation with a pal in the second queen bed. Go back and read that. On a purportedly romantic vacation with the man she's been openly pursuing for years, she had two queen beds and a friend in the hotel. Indeed, that is the smoking gun before you even pose the question. Exhibit A is that. In a single hotel registration, that is the complete case file. And we're going to go into why. This is what no one wants to say aloud. And I'll say it loud enough for the inexpensive seats. Budget was not a factor in that hotel's decision. The entire west wing of any resort on that island may be rented out by that woman. The motel was a tactic. Was a smoke yacht screen at the motel. That hotel was purposefully picked to be neutral because no one back home could identify it as a place where a man would take a true partner. A holiday that doesn't sound like an affair. Accounting conference is what it screams. It shouts youth basketball tournament. It yells, "Baby, I'm here for work. I promise." The alibi was the acquaintance in the second queen bed. The human shield was that. That served as a safety net to prevent him from fleeing as soon as the door shut. Because that portion is wonderful, we shall discuss how he attempted to flee in a split second. But first, we must go back in time, because without knowing where the rebrand really began, none of this makes sense. This is the section that no one is connecting to. According to my personal opinion, Aruba was not the starting point of this entire chaotic pivot, pin-up pretender era, and opportunity to unzip my entire life for the chronological arc. When Alicia Baumgardner entered a room that evening, everyone was talking about how gorgeous she was. The boxing world heard that one slap at that precise moment. Rather than taking the gloves, Claressa got a bikini and a bottle of lip gloss and made the decision to outrest every woman in her sport because something inside of her cracked. The origin story is that. Not the gold medals, not the records, not the rings. The current Claressa began as a lady who felt insignificant next to someone who was deemed attractive by the world and who concluded that her entire athletic legacy was suddenly insufficient. Allow that to land. When a generational athlete viewed a queen in the mirror, concluded that the queen needed less fabric to be authentic. Love, that's not empowerment. Talking like that hurts. And the wound became more audible. The wound grew bolder. Here's what happened after the Wound purchased a flight to Aruba without realizing it was being taped. This is where the fissures turn into canyons, so I want you to hang on. She arrives on the first day. She instantly begins posting footage of the hotel room on Instagram stories. In a typical scenario, a woman might post about her partner while they were on a passionate love vacation. A blurry shoulder, his hand, his shoes, his back, anything. On the first day of this Aruba production, however, there was only her, the buddy, the two queen beds, a loud silence where the lover should have been, and no papoose, no husband, and no so-called soulmate. And until they did, no one was aware of the hush. They were unable to ignore it once they had done so. What therefore does our main character do? Does she apply the brakes? Does she think about the optics for a moment? Not, of course. She intensifies her efforts. She drops 4 times. She removes the bikini, which may or may not have been knitted from dental floss, and releases a video that is so blatant, unzipped, and structurally flawed that even the algorithm blinked. On a verified account that has allegedly been active for years, we are discussing cutting out content. We are discussing a video that ought to have violated every rule in the manual and managed to remain popular for a considerable amount of time. And the woman who used to give us modesty lectures. The woman who captioned posts with proverbs using. The woman who once told young girls to walk in faith while staring directly into the camera is now serving full pinup at a pool vacation. However, that isn't the joke. Hey queen, is this consistent with the Christian girl brand you have been selling us for years? Was a reasonable, courteous question that was based on everything she herself has publicly taught her audience. Oh no, the punchline is what happened after that. Some brave soul, some absolute hero with a working keyboard, slid into the comments and dared to ask, what was our girl's reaction? Did she hesitate? Did she think about it? Did she offer an apology? She used her story to provide us with this. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unaware that my tiny top had slid. I'm sorry. You guys enjoy pretending to be pastors. Let it be now. Tranquility. I apologize. I apologize. I apologize once more to those in the back. Did this woman, this purported side piece, who is currently sweating on a vacation and mattress in Aruba next to a pal named Wingwoman, have the guts to criticize her own audience for being preachy when she is the one who established her whole brand on preachiness? This is the same woman who was hashtagging Jesus on every other post 6 months ago. The same woman who advised her followers to live moral lives is now criticizing the timeline for having the audacity to demand baseline uniformity. Make sense of it. I keep telling you to make things make sense, so pay attention. And you know why? Since it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in any universe, timeline, or dimension where music is meant to have meaning. The fact that the video is still available is the icing on the cake for this gaslit Sunday. The nipple is still out when I record this. The boldness is still alive. The rebranding process is currently ongoing. And she is waiting for everyone to simply forget that her own ideals are now directly at odds with her own content while she sits in her fortress with 2 queen beds. The world will remember, spoiler alert, her own texts are not as long-lasting as the internet. This is where the story takes a turn, and you will want to sit down for this one because the second act is messier than the first because, in the end, the man at the center of the whole circus actually showed up, allegedly, a day late. In my opinion, this is a statement in and of itself, because if you were in a passionate, undeniable love affair with this woman, you would be on the same plane. The same recycled airplane oxygen would be inhaled by you. You would land hand in hand. No, he didn't show up right away. And as soon as he set foot on the sand, the camera captured something that would have cost millions to remove, according to the entire OVO equivalent of her PR squad. He disappeared. Literally, not figuratively. Watch the video. He was engrossed in his phone. face first, as if he were attempting to escape a wave of shame. He was not looking directly into her eyes. Nothing was being whispered into her ear by him. He was scrolling like a man who had just been tagged in an inappropriate post. Then, without warning, he vanished from mid-walk. Off-frame vanished. On a Caribbean beach, where his footprints had left the sand warm, he pulled a Houdini. What action did our heroine take? She continued to move. She continued to smile. She continued to act for the camera as if the man she had crossed the seas for had not simply removed himself from the picture, both physically and emotionally. She didn't look back. His name was not called by her. Because the character could not afford to break, she refrained from doing so. A Mary J. Blige needle drop was queued up for the character. There were captions for the character to drop. The character needed to protect their brand. Regarding the needle drop, Mary didn't write the song with a holiday in mind. It could be the music of a kidnapping with pom-poms because Mary did not give us that catalog. Sis, make responsible use of the discography. This is what no one in her camp wants to acknowledge, so utilize it sensibly. I'm going to put it plainly. It wasn't love. It wasn't romantic. That was hardly a compelling tale of black love. That was a cocktail-related hostage incident. Someone paid for the flight, which is why the man showed up. The room was reserved by someone. To ensure that the companion remained in the second queen bed, someone played. He therefore did not believe that he was being trafficked. The optics were the reason he was there. He was there because it would have created more drama to say no than to say yes. However, every unconscious gesture, every act of disappearance, and every instant his face adhered to a screen are all telling. The identical message was being screamed by every single signal. This is not where I want to be. My desire is to return home. My wife's residence. The house with the marriage license. The true life is at home. She is the production's silent giant, so I must now discuss her. Think back, Mackie. No one in this plot can outrun the name of the woman, Remy Ma. The woman with the certificate on the wall, the ring on her finger, and the layaway receipts is the legal wife, the undivided. And this is what's killing them. She hasn't uttered a word. Not a single subliminal post, not a podcast appearance, not a heartfelt reply. Because the lady with the title does not have to audition. She is winning the entire war by doing nothing while sitting in her home, living her life, eating her food, raising her children, and being a wife. In the meantime, the woman who is carrying a married man around the Caribbean like a participation trophy posts every 5 minutes in an attempt to persuade the world that she possesses something that she obviously does not. And each picture simply serves to highlight the same harsh reality. Remy doesn't care. Remy remains unfazed. The unbeaten heavyweight of simply being is Remy. Now pose the question that no one in Clarissa's camp will ever be able to respond to. Why does he continue to be married? Why doesn't he file? Why is there no signature? No court date, no notary, no papers, nothing in all these years. The divorce papers would have been filed in 2022 if this was true, and this was the once-in-a-lifetime soulmate connection she continues attempting to sell us through song. In 2023, they would have been notarized. They would be framed on the wall by now. However, since she is not the wife, they are not. Music, the partner is not her. The endgame is not her. He uses her as a stand-in to harm the woman who won't let him go. That's it. That's the whole script. And in a moment, we'll discuss where this all fits in. Because, in my perspective, the trajectory is extremely predictable. The audacity inventory comes first, though. Let's put it in a catalog. The enticing photos are the first step. Completed. The second step is for the X-rated bikini content to appear on a platform that has been verified. Completed. Step 3 is the public outburst directed against anyone who has the audacity to hold her to her own declared principles. Completed. Step 4. I'm calling this one ahead of time. Make a note of it. Take a screenshot of this video with the fluorescent yellow highlights because we are going to be incredibly correct. There are 2 options for Step 4. Before the year is out, she either establishes an OnlyFans account or crawls back to a network like Zeus to film a reconciliation arc with whatever new man they pair her with. The brand pivot has already started, so book it, get it tattooed, and frame it with The wardrobe is already getting smaller. Repackaging the personality is already underway. The subscription tier is the only thing lacking. And let me stop you there before you accuse me of being cruel. Being cruel is not the point of this. Tearing a lady down for fun is not the goal here. This is about identifying a pattern for what it is. Because if we continue to allow public figures to deceive their audiences without facing any repercussions, if we continue to applaud women who use spirituality as a costume and take it off the moment it stops being popular, or if we continue to applaud chaos because it appears while wearing a bikini and a Mary J. Blige song, we will continue to see more of this. More side acts with sponsorship deals, more mistresses with megaphones, and more public contempt masquerading as empowerment through. We must refer to it as sufficient. The fact that Claressa Shields is a generational talent is what really pains her and should make her true fans want to shake her. Two-time Olympic gold medalist and numerous weight class indisputable champion from this generation. A woman who would have been regarded as one of the greatest fighters of all time. No discussion, no asterisk, and no disclaimers. What is she picking instead? Because someone labeled another fighter cute, she is opting to be known as the woman who showed off her chest on Instagram. She wants to be known as the woman who booked a vacation in Aruba to flaunt a guy she borrowed. In the final carousel, she is opting to be remembered as the woman who chastised her audience for being preachy while still sporting the crucifix necklace. That's the legacy she's creating, not the rings, belts, records, power, chaos, or chutzpah. Make a reservation. You might wonder about Papooses. What about the person at the center of this entire tropical storm? Papoose is acting in the same manner as he usually has. He is continuing to play music that is both obvious enough to keep the gravy train going and undetectable enough to prevent his wife from cutting him off entirely. He is the epitome of what it is to be human, to have his cake, eat it, bring a doggy bag home, and text 2 different women to let them know the cake was for them. He's on the phone with one woman and on the beach with another. He appears in his wife's text thread with the heart eye emojis and in the lobby throughout the holiday with the mistress. Wearing Timberlands in tropical conditions is a walking paradox. He also knows exactly where he should be deep down in the core of his being. He is aware of whose birthday it is. He is aware of the license's owner. And that knowledge is shouting loudly, clearly, embarrassingly every time the camera captures him disappearing in mid-frame, melting into the background, or scrolling away from her view. Now, since the script is the same, you cannot ignore the parallel circus operating on the timeline while all of this is taking down in Aruba. K, the entire planned Portia Williams takedown attempt that has been collapsing in real time, including Michelle, Shamaya, and Kelly. These women are portraying the victim in the story, while Claressa is over there acting out the part of a distressed girlfriend. Additionally, the internet does fact checks on every receipt that falls, every podcast clip that leaks, and more of the truth is revealed. Portia has been proven right. The plotters are rushing. Additionally, the same women who attempted to conceal her footage are now pleading with the algorithm to conceal their own, and pose the question they would prefer not to be asked. Why did Kelly, Shamaya, and Kay, Michelle spends so much energy obsessing over Portia, who she dates, what she does, and who she does not? When he consistently stated that he did not want to be associated with the Housewives brand, why was a man on a podcast even questioned about a so-called married preacher? The attempts at deflection are awkward. The audience is finally picking up on the frantic narrative manipulation because the script is the same whether it is Kelly in the media, Shame on a podcast, K. Michelle on a live stream, or Claressa in Aruba. Distract, divert, and portray your actions as the fault of someone else. When the receipts arrive, cry like a victim. Reprimand your audience for observing. When the temperature rises, take a bikini picture. Different actors, same script. Along with Kay. I must go back in time, Michelle, because it is said that even Nash was unaware of K. Michelle's true fiancé. Allegedly believed she was getting married to the basketball coach. I was unaware that there was a completely other man, an intermittent relationship spanning several years, who arrived at the last minute and put on a ring. That's how chaotic and secretive this orbit is. Husbands as accessories, loyalty as a hashtag, marriage as a marketing gimmick. You are not a wife if you have a lot of entanglements. The show is rigged, and you are a contestant. This is the main idea of the two-act play. The women with the least to show are typically the ones who have to perform the loudest. Women whose connections are limited to the lens are typically the ones who must record their relationships with fisheye lenses. Women who are perceived negatively are typically the ones that need to wear less clothing in order to feel more visible. Additionally, the women who chastise their audiences for asking simple questions are typically the ones who are aware that the answers would make them look foolish in 4K. If you are watching this, Claressa, I can assure you that someone in your camp will send it to you, because they usually do. Take a moment. Examine the space. Set the swimsuit aside. Take up the request for a wedding license. Consider why you are on vacation rather than in a penthouse. Why did your man show up on day 2 rather than day 1? Why did you need a companion in the second queen bed to prevent him from running away? Why is the woman with the certificate on her wall still the one you are constantly striving to outdo? Because each and every response to each and every one of those questions results in the same one-word conclusion. A placeholder. The placeholder is you. The main attraction is at home. Not even the headliner has logged on. Without even playing, the main attraction is winning. The Copyright Act of 1976, living rent-free in the description, amusement purposes solely, and my own personal viewpoint. The most visible stage of Claressa Shields' breakdown has finally begun, and there isn't a smooth way out. She won't be saved by the bikini. She won't be saved by the captions. She won't be saved by the companion in the second queen bed. She won't be saved by the holiday at the front desk. She won't be saved by the Mary J. Blige needle drip. Right now, honesty is the only thing that can save her. Maybe, just maybe, stop carrying a married man around the Caribbean like a participation trophy because the world is watching, the expenses are piling up, and the audacity, while genuinely impressive, is not infallible. Take a seat with yourself, gaze in the mirror, and ask the things you keep putting off. I need all of your brilliant opinions on this, so please share your thoughts in the comments. From this entire Aruba production, what are you reading? How did you feel about the way she chastised her own audience for holding her accountable to her own brand and the nip-slip non-apology? Where do you think this is going? Is the debut of the Zeus Network reconciliation arc limited to fans? Or is there anything more significant that we haven't even anticipated yet? Do you believe Papoose will eventually file, or will he continue to play this never-ending game of duck and cover, the Portia vindication, and the K. Michelle Shamea Kelly chaos? Do you believe Portia emerges victorious? Do you believe that these women will now be held accountable for their schemes? Tell me everything rattling around in your head right now. I peruse the remarks. The comments are where I live. I want all of your receipts. And you are truly magical if you have reached this stage in the video. This channel only exists because of you. And you have my sincere gratitude for listening, supporting me, and keeping our community alive. Thus, please hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, leave a like, and promote this video as if no one else is watching. You have no idea how much it benefits the channel and keeps these discussions going for everyone who needs them. Additionally, there was another off-script Claressa moment that occurred just prior to the entire Aruba disaster. Almost no one is discussing it, and the contradiction in that instance may well be greater than the entire tropical scenario. Check out the recommended video that is currently displayed on your screen, as it is the final piece of the puzzle. I'm sending each and every one of you love, blessings, and good juju. Let's talk shortly.